Another Rumble has come and gone, and yeah, it happened. Once again, the show peaked in the beginning, and I wouldn't ask somebody to spend 4 hours on it. Was it fun? At times, but everything felt obvious, and there wasn't much effort. I'm not talking about the wrestlers, of course. Heading into it, I was hyped as hell. I was like, damn, it's a Royal Rumble. I can't wait for it. I was waiting all day long for it to begin, and then it happened. What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. We're back again with a short review. You know, we don't like spending too much time on these reviews because the show just happened yesterday, and I don't think it's right for me to spend so much time talking about it. So, enough talk. Let's get into it. The first match on the show was for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns defended the title against Seth Rollins. You see, looking back to a positive time, this was the match I was most hyped for. Rollins seemed like a huge threat, especially in the build to the match. He had all the answers to Roman Reigns, and for several years had been his foil. So that made this match very interesting, and about this one, well, right out of the gate, I was into it because this mother comes out to the Shield music and Shield gear like it's 2014. Like, what the hell? It showed just how much of a lunatic Seth was in storyline, and with this, I realized that this match was going to be the most unpredictable of Roman's run. They have the match, and it was so damn good. Edge of your seat type stuff, and it's no exaggeration. One moment Seth would be on the verge of scoring big, countering Reigns' moves, and it made for an extremely thrilling match. The challenger was one step ahead of the champion, who would get frustrated as the minutes went by. Once again, Roman's kickouts were world class. I always say this in these videos, and it's true. Roman Reigns has some of the best kickouts in wrestling. At one point, he beat the ref by only a split second. It was just scary. Then he caught Rollins in the guillotine and got himself DQ'd because he was constantly being bombarded with Shield references such as the fist or the music. DQ did annoy me at the time. I'm like, damn it, because it's the WWE special. But logically, it made sense. I obviously would learn the hard way that it didn't by night's end, but at the moment, I got it. You know, Roman wanted to let go of the past, but Seth refused to allow him to. And it was great storytelling in the aftermath. Nicely set up a elimination chamber match in Saudi. Yeah, I don't see Rollins at WrestleMania against Roman, although I hope it does happen. Not sure how they'll go about this thing. They'll probably ditch the storyline. They probably won't mention it, or they'll have the match in a few weeks. I don't know. But regardless, it's a nice story. And I felt more intrigued with it than I've ever felt with Brock and Roman. Unfortunately, this show is like the new brand split. It peaked earlier because after this, it's a different story. But yes, if you're going to seek out one thing on the show, this is the match. It was great. The storytelling was amazing afterwards with Roman delivering repeated chair shots and all that. But it all depends on how they follow up, because if they don't follow up, this match is meaningless. The next match was the Women's Royal Rumble. I was happy to see the Royal Rumble match back. It had been a year and I was hyped. And with the women's side, again, they spoiled all the contestants early on. I don't know why. I believe it's to increase interest, but they were better off having them as surprises. Mickie James is the exception because, well, Impact needs the promotion, so it makes sense for her to be announced beforehand. Anyways, let's talk about it quickly. They start off with Sasha and Molina. She's still got it, you know, she's awesome with the splits, she's charismatic, she's all that, but then she botched, I believe, and she was eliminated early on, which is a damn shame. I'm going to go with the botch. I don't think she was meant to be eliminated that early on. It just didn't seem like it. Other than this, the match was largely forgettable in a way. As time went on, I somewhat enjoyed the action and surprises such as Michelle McCool or Mickie James having a good showing. But throughout all of that, it was just there. There was some nice little moments there, you know, Ivory with the RTC sound, not music. Mighty Molly getting attacked by Nikki ASH. That was probably my favorite moment behind Melina's return. And then Ronda came out, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really care. She had that part-timer boost and plowed through that competition. Charlotte, meanwhile, was essentially 99 overall throughout the damn thing. You know, she'd knock somebody down, do that pose, and repeat. Bianca was the powerhouse and my pick, the one woman I rooted for. Once Ronda appeared, it was a wrap. She won it, and I was like, ugh. Obviously, there's going to be some people that like it, but I just don't care. For one, they spoiled the return, and two, I do not want to see her face Charlotte or Becky again. I'm good. The match as a whole was a downgrade from the previous women's match. Fan favorites were thrown out like nothing. Liv Morgan, who was hyped up, was eliminated randomly by the Bellas, who had an amazing crowd reception, probably the best from anybody in the match. You know, when Brie came out, she did the yes chant thing. Nikki as well. Sasha was randomly eliminated, and without any knowledge, you wouldn't believe that she was a WrestleMania main eventer. You can notice the roster is extremely thin, and for some reason, they refuse to call up the likes of Dakota Kai, Io Shirai, Mandy Rose, the NXT 2.0 woman. They had to rely on recently released talent to fill up the match. Same thing with the men's match. They could have brought some energy to the matches, you know, the NXT men and women. Then again, it's for the better, because if Gunther was in the Rumble match and took suplexes from Lesnar, well, Twitter would have exploded. Anyways, I believe they're doing Ronda versus Becky too, and if they do it, I'm not really interested in it, but I know who I'm rooting for if they do it. Personally, as I said, I don't care, but you know the old saying, business is business. But it doesn't mean I have to like it. Following this, Becky Lynch defended the Raw Women's Championship against Doudrop. So it's one of those predictable Rumble title matches, but nonetheless, a bunch of them have been good in recent years, such as Brock, Finn, Becky, and Asuka. But anyways, this was solid, but I didn't mind it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but I wasn't really invested in the match. I don't know if it's the result or because it followed the Rumble, but either way, I was emotionless towards this match. I wasn't excited or anything like that. Doudrop was a tough challenge for Becky, but then she started integrating into the match, and slowly she managed to knock her down, eventually with the super rock bottom of the Uranagi to retain. Not a bad match, but it lacked the fire that would make me glued to the screen. Next up, Brock Lesnar defended the WWE Championship against Bobby Lashley. The one match that was sought after by the fans, including myself, because it's two big heavyweights who have loads of intensity, an explosive offense, and ridiculous feats of strength. It had been hyped up for a very long time, ever since Bobby Lashley made a name for himself. So I'm happy to watch it. Once the bell rang, well, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm going to be honest. That hype kind of disappeared like Jinder's push in 2017. It was far from bad, but it wasn't that explosive match that I had in mind for years. Lashley did get some offense in, then he messed up and did the whole barricade spot. Lesnar takes control, repeated Germans, and eventually hits the F5, which caused the ref to get knocked down. It was obvious that a tribal chief was coming, and that's exactly what happened, and for some reason, Roman disrespected the WWE title as if he didn't hold that title twice, and in midst of all this, Paul Heyman was reunited with the head of the table, and Lashley was now a two-time champion. I think if you followed the story, you sensed this would occur. We just didn't know if it was going to be Roman or Brock who was losing the title. We had the answer there, and we also had the answer to the Royal Rumble match, because at the end of the day, Brock is at a whole other level compared to any other wrestler on the roster. The way he's treated and booked is extremely different to anybody else. And as for Lashley, I'm glad he's champion again, but it felt overlooked. I didn't think they would give him the championship so soon. So that's cool. Other than Seth Rollins, they do not have anybody for him, although it takes one match to the likes of AJ Styles, Finn, KO to become challengers. I don't know who it's going to be. Hell, it could probably be Goldberg, and that's probably what's going to happen. I don't know. What I want to see, well, I want to see somebody like AJ Styles or Seth Rollins in a match against Lashley at WrestleMania. But as I said, you can't really say for certain. Goldberg might come out next night on Raw or something. Next up, Edge and Beth Phoenix faced The Miz and Maurice. The match I had the least amount of interest in because it was obvious who was winning. The Miz is essentially an uppercard jobber. He always makes whoever's in the ring with them bigger than they are. And the action itself was fine, nothing noteworthy, although looking at it from Edge's perspective, it's cool that he teamed up with his wife. Maurice hit this awesome head scissors from out of nowhere. Barring the purse shot from Maurice in the skull-crushing finale, I didn't think there was a chance Edge would lose. Other than that, a solid outing, but since I wasn't invested in the story, my mind was elsewhere, honestly. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I just wasn't really interested in this whole thing. I hope Edge moves on and feuds with somebody like AJ Styles, maybe even Lashley. I don't know, but I'm just interested in what he does next rather than this storyline. And the main events, the 30-man Royal Rumble, also known as the Mid-Card Rumble. Watching it yesterday, it gave off a Rumble 2000 vibe in the sense that there wasn't many threats in the match. Add to that, it was disjointed as hell. And thinking back without rewatching it, I don't even remember much. So heading into it, there wasn't really a odds-on favorite compared to other years. Last year, we had an idea that it was possibly Edge or Daniel Bryan, and then the year before that, it was Drew McIntyre. Here, we did not have that. Nobody was built up for the Rumble. It'd be a stretch to say, but maybe Austin Theory. That's a bit of a stretch. It's a far stretch. My favorite was AJ Styles. I got behind him, and it turned out he was number one. With me rooting for AJ Styles, I was honestly on the edge of my seat. Almost every time he'd get thrown out, I'd be watching and worried because I didn't know if he was going to last throughout the match. The IC champion Shinsuke Nakamura still existed, apparently. I don't know why he still has the title. Ring starts filling up. Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville interact. And this man, he just looked like he was dressed as if he's in The Incredibles or a Disney cartoon or something with the way he was dressed. Come to think about it, he looks like Barnacle Boy. But anyways, he was asking for a beating and then they did not go easy on him. Like, AJ just delivered these mean-ass strikes and a wicked clothesline. Omos had his moment to shine, gave off a Braun Strowman Rumble 17 vibe, you know, the big man was booked to be unstoppable, until the rest of the guys went after him. Dolph Ziggler entered his 15th Royal Rumble. Like, how in the hell has this man been in so many Rumbles? I don't know, but it's just impressive to think about. A random mid-carder, Madcap Moss, threw AJ out, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe that AJ Styles was eliminated by a random guy, especially after lasting in the Rumble for so long. Like, I just didn't understand it. It was odd. After that, I didn't really have anyone to support until Drew made his return. He gives the ultimate mid-carders a ruthless beating, but other than that, not much happened. Everyone that entered didn't feel like a big deal, even though in my mind they were. You know, guys like Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton. Kofi unfortunately messed up, and Big E, I forgot this man was WWE champion. It felt very off until Bad Bad Bunny came out. It picked up a little, and that's a shame because a celebrity appearance shouldn't bring more excitement to me than whatever was going down. This man once again showed that he was treating this seriously, had a better performance than Ronda, and it's no disrespect to him, but it should be lower on the list for most exciting moments in the match. But still, his thing was the most exciting thing in the match for me probably. Shane McMahon returned and did stuff. Randy Orton, the hometown hero, had probably the best reception from the crowd. And then number 30 came out, and yes, we all knew it was him. He came in, looked like a bigger star than everyone in the ring. Bad Bunny took a colossal F5. Orton was treated like a jobber, which shocked me, honestly, because he's from St. Louis. Shane was in the final three, which was probably the funniest, yet saddest, yet confusing thing from the show. And Brock won it after battling McIntyre for like 20 seconds. After that, he just tossed him out like nothing. It felt so deflating for me and just dull. Like, it's one of the most forgettable and worst Rumbles of the decade. Little redeeming qualities, and regardless of Brock's win, take that away, it didn't feel like a big deal. And with regards to Brock as the winner, I just feel it's unnecessary. You know, I thought it's more interesting to have him in the chamber, destroying the opposition, throwing them into the steel, the glass, all that, rather than have him win the Rumble again, you know, because he's never competed in the chamber. But they did it here, and I would have preferred to see someone else. It felt predictable, and it felt boring. The match as a whole lacked the spark, the surprise element, and just cohesiveness, you know? There wasn't much storyline developments here other than Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin. The women's match had some, you know, Naomi with the Sonya Deville, but this one didn't really have much other than the Drew McIntyre thing. The Rumbles in recent years have a lot of positives, you know? 2017 was unpredictable and had loads of star power. 2018 was just well done and represented the changes in the company well. 2020 was electric, and last year had a lot of surprises. This Rumble felt like 2014 or 15, just forgettable regardless of the result. Oh, and where were Cesaro and Finn? Like, I heard Finn was out of the country, but it's still a weird exclusion. And Cesaro, I don't know where he is. But yeah, that's the Rumble. My match of the night is the opener, which is unfortunate because I really wanted the main event or the Women's Royal Rumble to be that, but they just can't be. The show peaked early on, and after that, well, it slowly went downhill. By the looks of it, WWE does not even know who they want to have challenge Lashley or whatever. It has to do with the WWE title picture, which is weird because it's the biggest title in the company. I refuse to believe the Universal title's bigger, and they should treat it with more respect and more carefully thought out ideas because this ain't it. Alright, what do you guys think of the Royal Rumble? Please comment down below, and that's it for this video. Make sure you hit the spear on the like button and perhaps the F5 on the subscribe button. Peace, I'm out.